Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is, what is today? It's Monday, the 1st of September. Again, can you believe we are into September? And there he gone? There he is. And just like clockwork, or on cue, we have a beautiful, nice spring day, as of course September 1st is the 1st of spring. Just making sure Neil's not going off track there. A couple of times down this road in the past, he's just decided to go into people's yards and try and actually get into their houses. I think he's matured just a little bit, hopefully, but yeah, beautiful day here at the moment, as you can see, just behind me there. There's a golf course behind me there. Can you believe there's actually a golf course right there, and there's houses here as well. I wonder how many stray golf balls just cross the road here and smash the odd window or two, because there's a hole right in front of me here and there's a house there literally about 20 metres away. Anyway, enough of golf. This is a boxing show. Let's get on to it. On this day, let's go back to 1973 and everyone's favourite former champion, the late great Big George Foreman, defended his world heavyweight title today with a knockout of Puerto Rico's Jose Roman in the first round. And the fight actually took place in Tokyo, Japan. And this was obviously the days where fighters used to go to all types of exotic places to fight. And yeah, and I suppose, I don't know whether it was about money or whether, like in this day and age, whether the countries were actually paying them to have them there. But you remember Muhammad Ali fought Fraser in Manila, he fought Foreman in Zaire. You know, lots of exotic places as well. I think Muhammad Ali actually fought a few times, or did he fight in Tokyo? That might have been the wrestling thing anyway. But that was on this day, just the one thing today. Not a lot happening on this day in boxing history. All right, so yesterday I did the 10 fights that were YouTube recommended. So if you've got nothing on in the next sort of couple of weeks where there's not much happening on the boxing scene, although yesterday there was the main event card. This boxing fight, this Darren Till and whoever he fought, can someone explain to me the significance of this guy? It was on main event. Is he a YouTuber? I think is he an MMA guy? I've got no idea. But two guys I've barely heard of. I think I said the other day about Darren Till. I watched a bit of him fight. Is it Anthony Taylor? But can anyone explain to me why we were expected to pay for that fight yesterday? Obviously, it's big enough in their eyes to be on there and sell, but it's all news to me, guys. I had no idea about him except the other day when I quickly had a look at him on YouTube because they were talking about him fighting Jai Pattaya. So if you can shed some light, that would be great, because I am at a loss to know why that fight was on main event pay-per-view yesterday. And did you buy it? That's probably the next question. If you did, I hope you had a good day. But anyway, my top 10 yesterday was just fights that, apart from the normal fights that everyone goes to, the Hagler Hearns, the Gaddy and Ward, and these types of fights, I gave my 10 fights that were just good go-to fights, good entertaining fights for all different reasons. And I asked for some fights from you guys, and a few of you commented on it. I'd like to actually, it was good to get the feedback on it, on especially Fennick and Payakaroon. A really good go-to fight, even though it only went 4 rounds. Harding and Andrews was the other one that everyone seemed to like. Alice Michael. Now he was at David Jenkins actually said he was at the Barry Michael and Lester Ellis fight. Mate, good on you. I wish I had been there. I really wanted to go. What was I, 11 years old? I think I was 11 or 12. I think I was still 11 years old. And I wanted to go desperately to Alice and Michael. I'd never been to a big fight before. And my boxing trainer at the time, he went, and he did offer to take me down, but I must have, from memory, I think my mum said, "No, look, 11 years old, maybe he might be a little bit young." So thanks for nothing, Mum. But what a fight that would have been at. Probably in my opinion, the greatest all Aussie fight we've ever had. Not the biggest. I think obviously Mundine Green probably takes that mantle, but the action and the build up and just I watched it recently. You can almost feel the tension and drama in the air of that venue. I mean, I think it only held 2,000 or 3,000 people at Festival Hall. I would have loved to have gone to a fight night there. Would have been awesome. Actually, I did go to a fight night. Sorry, I take that back. I went to see Costa Tszyu when he knocked out Sammy Fuentes. That's right, and it went one round. So not the greatest night of boxing, but to see Costa Tszyu in the flesh, it was amazing at Festival Hall. It was always sort of on my bucket list to go see. That was, when was that? Probably, I don't know, was it about 25 years ago as that was? I can't remember. But anyway, what a night that would have been to see Alice and Michael. They would have been awesome. So we've got a couple others there. We've got Briggs and Adamek 1 and 2. That was from Brad Solitar. Thanks, Brad. Yes, you are right. Both fights got awarded by the WBC or awards. Yep. Interesting comment there too, just on regards to the Fenech and Payakaroon fight. Justin Footed, how are you? Justin said that Samat Payakaroon had the same standing in Thailand as Jeff did in Australia. And that's why he's so respected in Thailand. Good point. I know he does go over there a fair bit, Justin, does Jeff. He does training camps over there. And I actually read a good story about Jeff this morning. It was on, or yesterday, it was World Boxing News. I sort of scoured the sites just to see what's going on, and actually had a full-length article on Jeff Fenech. And I'm not sure, I didn't actually read who was the author, but just to touch base with Jeff about when he went to the Olympics, he had 28 amateur fights. Well, he had 3 there. So when he went there, he'd only had 25 amateur fights. Can you believe that? And I mean, in comparison, he's got fighters at those tournaments that would have had hundreds of fights. So there was the boycott, wasn't there, of a lot of the Eastern Bloc countries. So maybe it mightn't have been as what it normally is. But Steve McCrory, who won the gold medal, he would have probably had a couple of hundred fights, would have Steve McCrory. But that's the thing out of all his career that I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here, by the way, but everyone talks about the Azuma Nelson fight as being, the down point of his career, and the thing that he sort of regrets the most and goes back to. But it's actually the amateur fight at the Olympic Games with, come here, buddy. He's still a kangaroo carcass there, if you can believe that, after about 3 months. But it's actually the fight with Red Sapolsky at the 1984 Olympics, when he won the fight and it was overturned by the jury. Now, I don't even know how that works, by the way, where you've got judges sitting ringside and they award a fighter the decision, and then a so-called jury steps in and says, no, we don't think you got that right, so we're going to overturn it. Apparently it was the only fight in amateur history, according to Jeff, that was, or at least at the Olympic Games anyway, that was actually overturned. So just amazing stuff there. But that is a fight that sort of haunts him the most in his amateur career. And to think that he fought for a pro world title 6 months after turning pro, just crazy. But that's the way Jeff rolled back in the day. For a guy that only had limited fights, I mean, what did he have as a pro? Did he have like maybe 30, 35, something like that? This is a guy that's had 60 fights in his entire career, amateur and pro, and achieved all what he achieved. Should have been fighting for an Olympic gold medal. Should have been a four-time world champion. I know he's been sort of recognised as such now, but to think I had 100 fights myself, all amateur, of course, and he achieved in 60 fights, amateur and pro, it is just a feat that I think will never, ever be beaten by the one and only Jeff Fenech. And I hope he's doing well. He's recently turned 60, I think, so, or 61 was it? I can't remember. But anyway, he's in his 60s now and still a legend. All right, let's move on. We've got a couple more fights here. These are a couple of good ones. James Toney, Mike McCallum, either 1 or 2. Good fights, very, very good fights. And if you haven't seen these fights, make sure you do, because obviously the viewers there recommend them. They're just good, let's call them popcorn fights. Just great fights for, as I said before, different reasons. Drew Keeley, we've got a couple from you here. What do you got? You got Pacquiao Marquez 4. Great fight. I was actually at that fight. And when, I think I've said before, when Marquez knocked Pacquiao out in the 6th round, I mean, he was on toast in that fight, by the way, too. But when he knocked him out in the 6th round, I thought the roof was going to lift off the MGM Grand. and I got showered in beer and popcorn and you name it. I got showered nachos. I got showered in it, and we're all drenched walking back to the hotel. The other one, Tyson Holyfield one, yeah, definitely. I spoke yesterday about a couple of fights with dismantling of Julio Cesar Chavez over Rosario and Whittaker over Haugen. This was a similar destruction from Holyfield in a different way, because he systematically just broke Mike Tyson down bit by bit by bit and stopped him in, the 11th round, I think it was. The other one, Lewis and Klitschko, yep, I like that one. George Foreman, Ron Lyle, yes, yeah, good action-packed fight, that one. Holmes and Norton, now that's probably a really good one, and that's probably a fight that a lot of people haven't actually seen. Larry Holmes and Ken Norton, particularly the 15th round. 15th round. And these guys, they used to fight sort of in the day, and it was hot. They'd fight in Las Vegas in the pavilions at Caesar's Palace, and they was just stinking hot. And they would fight there, especially like Larry Holmes, just all ticker, all heart, and obviously Ken Norton as well. But yeah, that fight was amazing. Taylor and Frost, yeah, Jermaine Taylor, Carl Frost, yep, good fight. Yeah, well, just for pure nostalgia and entertainment, I suppose, look at Costa Tszyu and Zab Judah. Amazing win by Costa Tszyu. The talk about legacy building, that was the fight. Costa Tszyu, Zab Judah. And then Castillo Corrales, yeah, great fight as well. Who can forget that? Was it what round was it, 10, 11? I can't remember what it was, when he'd been dropped twice, lost his mouth guard, and got up and then stopped Castillo in just an amazing comeback win. What else have we got there? Andre Berto, Victor Ortiz. Yeah, good fight as well. So there's some fights anyway to check out if you're looking for some different fights to check out over the next sort of week or two before we get into the big stuff. Come here, man. Get out of there. Come on, this way. This way. Come on, buddy. Morning. All right, good boy. All right, so it is the start of September, and we can now officially, in my mind, or in my opinion, start the countdown to Canelo and Crawford. To 1 week actually before I go. I'm going next Monday, so the 8th of September. It's come around really quick. I must admit, it was something I was up in the air about sort of doing, whether I would go, because obviously it's a quick turnaround from my last trip. But I looked at the airfares were on special. I got in quick a few months back when the fight was announced, and just booked a room at the Luxor Casino actually in Vegas, because it's right. It's about a 5-minute walk from Allegiant Stadium, just in case. And I was still up in the air about whether I was going to go. And then of course fate hit. The travel guide sort of spoke, and airfares went down to just prices I haven't seen in a long, long time. It's like, well, I've just got to go now, don't I? So, and I had a few frequent flyer points up the sleeve. So I was like, honey, you know how I said I wasn't going to go overseas, and probably for the, till we go at the end of the year? And she's like, yeah. Well, I think she knew what was coming. She knows it's a massive fight. So anyway, long story short, I booked the flights over there. I'm going by myself, but Shannon O'Connell and her son Cooper O'Connell are actually going over as well. Shannon called me and said they're going. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take a detour. I'm going to fly from Melbourne to Brisbane first, meet up with Shannon and Cooper, and then we'll all go over together on the same flight. Yeah, hopefully Shannon and Cooper can do some training over there, and I'm not sure whether they've got some sparring organised, whatever, but it'd be good to sort of spend a bit of time with those guys and hopefully go to the gyms and watch them in action. Especially, I'll be interested to see how Cooper goes. I see he's been sparring with Liam Paro, which is awesome. He's a good kid, and he's got a bit of size about him. He's only 140, I think, but tell you what, he's got some size about him. And when you got Liam Paro tweeting or whatever it is, putting posts out about you saying that you're a future superstar, well, you got to take notice. So hopefully, Shannon and Cooper can maybe get some rounds, particularly Cooper. Actually, I think Shannon might be fighting soon, is she? I don't know, actually. But Cooper, it'd be great to see him get some rounds at the Mayweather gym, or there's the City gym as well, especially Mayweather's, because I don't muck around at that gym. So we'll see whether he wants a baptism of fire or not. But anyway, that should be good. So as I said, we're staying at the Luxor in Las Vegas. It's a hotel that gets it's sort of some people love it, some people don't. I actually really like it. I think it's a really good budget casino for accommodation if you're looking somewhere really reasonable and a really good hotel to stay at. But more so, it's all about the location. And on a Saturday night in Vegas, trying to get taxis and Ubers, and even just walking the strip if you've got a hotel or a casino that's a little bit away from the venue, it's an absolute nightmare trying to get around. The strip is just packed. So the Luxor, as I said, is literally a 5-minute walk from Allegiant Stadium. I'm actually particularly excited to see what Allegiant Stadium is like, to see a boxing event in a football stadium. I'm hoping it's a little bit different too, and I think it will be, because I've been to fights at football stadiums, but they've been AFL stadiums. Jeff Fennick, Azuma Nelson, there's Costa and Leisure back in 2003. Yeah, they're not great at the AFL grounds, but I went to the Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao fight in 2017, probably like a lot of you guys and girls out there, and it was amazing at the Rugby League Stadium. That was Suncorp Stadium. I got a feeling this one will be similar, because the American football fields aren't very big either. I'm not sure. I think they are the same size as a rugby league field. That's obviously why they have the NRL there. So I'm hoping that it'll be a little bit better experience than an AFL ground, which is about twice the size of those fields. So I did actually go to, last year when we were in Dallas, went to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium there and watched the football, which was a great experience. And I was sort of sitting there, and it's actually, it's good viewing, because the venues, or the seating, is almost like a bowl. There's a lot of AFL grounds that sort of spreads out, sort of goes outwards, where the NFL stadiums seem to be like a bowl shape. So hopefully that's the way this is. But I'm really looking forward to getting over there, seeing what all the fight week's like. And I'm excited. I know it sounds funny, but I'm actually excited for someone like Cooper O'Connell to be over there, to experience Vegas for the first time in a big event and get over. I remember when I went over there for my first boxing event, it was just a buzz, and that's why when I sponsored the Twins to go over there 10 years ago, my main thing was, it was great to get the experience sparring Lomachenko and Cotto and all those types of guys, but it was more so to get the buzz of being in Vegas for a big fight, and hopefully just light the spark of just maybe another little couple of % of really wanting what the fighters in Vegas have, and just the excitement of fight week and everything else. So I'm excited for him. And the fight itself, look, as we've gotten closer, it's so many questions swirling around. You got Brian McIntyre, Crawford's trainer, supremely confident that they're going to be able to beat Canelo Alvarez, and stating why. And look, it makes a lot of sense, because, he said he'd break down Spencer. No, Spencer isn't the fighter that Canelo is, but the confidence that he speaks with, they're up to something. They're very, very confident in what they're preparing for. And, is he right? Is Canelo not the fighter that he has been? Now, this is the other really intriguing question for me, is Canelo Alvarez. I think we'll see a lot better performance from Crawford. However, having said that, with the added weight, does that sort of weigh him down a little bit? But the big question for me is Canelo. Is he the same fighter? Now, obviously, he's not the same fighter from 5 or 6 years ago, but has he got enough left to win this fight? I think he has. I think a lot of people sort of just weighing their opinions on, or basing their opinions on, the Williams School fight. I think just like Crawford's fight with Madrimov, I think you've just got to throw it to the side. Because I just don't think either one of those guys wanted those fights. They had no interest in being in there, especially in Canelo's case, where it's 7 o'clock in the morning in Saudi Arabia against an unknown opponent who doesn't want to fight, and no atmosphere in the arena at all. I get why he had a subpar performance. Crawford, as such, he didn't want the Madrimov fight. He wanted other fights, and he just took it, and it reflected in his performance. So I don't think we can base on. That's the other thing that's so intriguing about the fight. What version of these guys are we going to see? Because we can't base, I think, our opinions based on their last fights. I really don't. So we're going to see the 2023 version of Crawford that smashed Spence, at 20 pounds heavier, by the way. So there's the other intangible in there. And we're going to see Canelo, who's just looked pretty uninterested in his last probably half a dozen fights. So we're going to actually see him spark up for this type of challenge. I think he will. I think the fact that a lot of people are picking Crawford to win, I think will be enough for Canelo to get the spark back in this fight and really give us a great performance. But either way, it's going to be so exciting, and really interested to see how it goes with the Netflix broadcast, even though, of course, I won't be watching. I'll be at the venue, but I'm really interested to see how they do it. And just the whole event itself, fight week, how they do it, how Riyadh Season does a big event in Las Vegas, and Dana White with TKO, all that sort of stuff. I'm really excited to see what they can bring to boxing and how it reflects fight week. After being in Vegas for so many fights, that's probably my big thing I'm looking forward to. How is Dana White and Riyadh Season, everything going to go about promoting the biggest fight since Mayweather and Pacquiao 10 years ago? So lots of questions to be asked, but that is, the 2 weeks away. So great thing to look forward to in this September. There's a couple of big Aussie shows as well. We've got the Wanderer Promotions show, I think. Can't remember, I haven't got there, but they've got a show coming up, and of course the No Limit show with Liam Paro coming up on the 18th as well. So plenty to look forward to in September. And as I said at the start, the weather gods have smiled on us, and look what they've given us a beautiful spring day to get a start of September. So guys, that's going to do it. Hope you have an awesome Monday, and we will catch you tomorrow.